You can't keep doing this. It's not fair to either of us.
What about what you did? You don't get to play the victim here.
This is unacceptable. You can't just ignore the evidence like you're wrong and you know it. We need to stick to the plan.
Hello, everyone. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in the middle of a conversation, feeling completely relaxed and happy, when suddenly everything changes and you find yourself in an argument that you never saw coming? Maybe you were talking with a friend about something simple, and then one comment led to another, and before you knew it, both of you were raising your voices, your hearts were beating faster, and you were thinking, I need to win this. I need to prove I am right. And here is the thing that happens to most of us. After the argument ends, we do not feel happy about winning. We just feel tired, maybe a little angry, and we wonder why the conversation went that way in the first place. Arguments are part of human life. They happen to everyone, but most people do not know how to handle them well, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. How to win an argument without shouting, without using hurtful words, and most importantly, without damaging the relationships that matter to you. Because winning an argument is not about proving the other person is wrong. It's about solving the problem while keeping respect and peace alive between you and the other person. So stay with me, because by the end of this conversation, you're going to learn simple, practical ways to handle any argument that comes your way.
Welcome to Better Online English Study. This is where we teach English the easy way, making sure that every lesson is simple, clear, and useful for your real life. My name is Leo, and I am your teacher today. I speak slowly, I explain clearly, and I always respect your pace of learning, because I know that learning a new language takes time, patience, and practice. Now, before we dive deep into today's topic, I want to ask you for a small favor. If you are enjoying what you are hearing right now, please subscribe to this podcast, because subscribing means you become part of our learning family, and it helps us reach more people who want to learn English in a simple and supportive way. Please like this episode, and please write a comment telling me where you are listening from, what country you are in, and what your English learning goals are, because I read every single comment and I love hearing from you. All right, let us begin.
So, what exactly is an argument? An argument is simply when two people have different opinions about something, and both people believe that their opinion is the right one, which creates a disagreement, sometimes a small one, sometimes a much bigger one that can hurt feelings and damage relationships. Let me give you a simple example to make this clear. Imagine you and your friend just watched a movie together, and when the movie ends, you turn to your friend and say, "That was an amazing movie. I really loved it." But your friend looks at you and says, "Really? I thought it was boring. I did not enjoy it at all." Right there, you have two different opinions, and that is the beginning of an argument.
Although in this case, it is a very small argument that probably will not cause any problems because it is just about a movie. But sometimes arguments are not about movies or small things. Sometimes they are about important decisions, about feelings, about relationships, and that is when things can become difficult. Here's another example that might feel more familiar. You and your friend are planning to meet someone, and you look at the time and say, "We should leave right now. We are going to be late." But your friend says, "No, we still have time. Let us wait a little longer." Both of you want different things. Both of you think you are right, and if neither of you is willing to listen or find a middle ground, that is when voices start getting louder. That is when words start becoming sharper and more hurtful, and that is when a simple disagreement turns into a real problem. Now, here's something very important that I want you to understand right from the start. Winning an argument does not mean proving that you are right and the other person is wrong. It does not mean talking louder than them. It does not mean making them feel bad or stupid. Real winning means something completely different. It means you stay calm during the disagreement, you speak clearly and respectfully, you actually listen to what the other person is saying, you solve the problem together, and most importantly, you keep the relationship healthy and strong. That is what real winning looks like, and that is what we are going to learn how to do today.
Let me tell you a story about someone named Alex. Alex is a kind person with a good heart. He has friends, he has family, and he generally gets along well with people. But Alex has one big problem. He really does not like arguments. And whenever someone disagrees with him, he immediately feels nervous. His body tenses up, his mind starts racing, and he does not know how to handle the situation well. One day, Alex is at home with his brother, and they start talking about housework. And his brother says to him, "Alex, you never help around the house. I am always the one doing everything." Now Alex feels attacked by these words. He feels like he is being accused of something unfair. So he responds quickly and defensively, "That is not true. I do help. You just do not notice." But his brother is not satisfied with this answer, and he raises his voice a little and says, "No, Alex, it is true. You never help, and I'm tired of doing everything myself." And just like that, the argument escalates. Both of them start raising their voices, both of them start feeling angry, and neither one of them is really listening to what the other person is trying to say. Alex shouts, his brother shouts back, and they go back and forth like this for several minutes, until finally they both walk away from each other, feeling frustrated, feeling hurt, and feeling like nothing was solved. Later that evening, Alex sits alone in his room thinking about what happened, and he realizes something. He did not win anything in that argument. All he did was damage his relationship with his brother and make both of them feel bad. This is a story that happens to many people. Maybe it has even happened to you. But now let me tell you what happens a few weeks later, because this is where things change. Alex learns something new. He discovers a different way to handle disagreements. And one day, his brother says the same thing again. Alex, you never help around the house. But this time, Alex does not react the same way. Instead of getting defensive immediately, instead of arguing back, Alex takes a slow, deep breath. He pauses for just a moment to calm his mind. And then he says something different. He says, I hear what you are saying, and I understand that you feel like I am not helping enough around the house. His brother is surprised by this response because he was expecting an argument. He was expecting Alex to defend himself and fight back. But instead, Alex is actually listening. And because Alex is listening and staying calm, his brother's anger starts to decrease. His voice becomes softer, and he becomes more willing to have a real conversation. Alex continues, I want to help more. I really do. So please tell me specifically what you need me to do, and I will make sure I do it. And just like that, the entire situation changes. The argument transforms into a conversation. They start talking calmly about solutions. They figure out how to divide the housework more fairly, and both of them feel good about how the conversation ended. This time, Alex truly wins, not by shouting, not by proving he was right, but by staying calm, by listening, and by showing respect to his brother. This is the kind of winning I want to teach you today.
Now, let me share with you some simple, practical steps that you can use the next time you find yourself in an argument. These are not complicated strategies. They are simple ideas that really work, and you can start using them immediately in your daily life. Step number 1 is to stay calm. And I know this sounds obvious, but staying calm is actually the most important thing you can do when an argument begins. When an argument starts, your body reacts in specific ways. Your heart starts beating faster, your breathing changes, your muscles tense up, and your mind becomes very focused on defending yourself and proving you are right. This is a natural physical response. It happens to everyone. But here is what you need to do. Instead of speaking immediately, instead of reacting right away, take a slow, deep breath. Give yourself just a few seconds to calm your mind and think clearly. This small pause, this tiny moment of silence before you respond, can completely change how the argument goes, because it stops you from saying something you might regret later. It gives your brain time to think about the best way to respond, and it shows the other person that you are in control of yourself. Staying calm is your most powerful tool in any argument.
Step number 2 is to listen first. And this is where most people fail, because most people do not actually listen during arguments. Instead, they are just waiting for their turn to talk. They are thinking about what they are going to say next, and they are not really hearing what the other person is trying to communicate. But when you truly listen, when you give the other person your full attention and really try to understand what they are feeling and what they are saying, something powerful happens. They feel heard, they feel respected, and this makes them much more willing to listen to you in return. So when someone is speaking during an argument, look at them. Focus completely on their words. Try to understand not just what they are saying, but also how they are feeling, and show them through your body language and your facial expressions that you are genuinely listening. This simple act of listening can reduce anger, lower voices, and transform an argument into a productive conversation. Step number 3 is to speak slowly and clearly, because the way you speak during an argument matters just as much as what you say. When you speak slowly, it shows confidence. It shows that you are calm and in control. It shows that you have thought about your words before saying them. But when you speak quickly, especially when your voice is loud and rushed, it shows nervousness, it shows anger, and it makes the other person feel like you are attacking them. So take your time, choose your words carefully, speak at a pace that feels calm and steady, and this will give you much more power in the conversation than speaking quickly and loudly ever could. And step number 4 is to use simple, clear sentences that invite cooperation instead of creating more conflict. You do not need complicated vocabulary. You do not need long explanations. You just need a few simple phrases that show you want to solve the problem together. Try saying things like, "I understand what you are saying," or "I want to find a solution that works for both of us," or "Let us talk about this calmly and figure it out together." These simple sentences change the entire energy of the argument. They move the conversation away from fighting and toward problem solving, and they show the other person that you are not their enemy, you are their partner in finding a solution.
Now I want to talk about something that makes arguments much worse, and that thing is blaming. Blaming is when you point your finger at someone and say things like, "You did this wrong," or "You are the problem," or "You always mess things up." When you blame someone like this, they immediately become defensive. They stop listening to you, and they start thinking about how to defend themselves or attack you back. So, instead of blaming, try using what we call I statements, which means you talk about your own feelings instead of accusing the other person. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try saying, "I feel like my words are not being heard." Instead of saying, "You are always late," try saying, "I feel frustrated when we do not start on time." Do you see the difference? The first way sounds like an attack, but the second way sounds like you are sharing your honest feelings, and people respond much better to honest feelings than they do to accusations. Let me tell you about a couple who learned how to use this technique. They had been together for many years, and one evening they started arguing about cooking dinner because one person felt like they were always the one doing all the cooking while the other person never helped. The person who was frustrated said, "You never cook. I always have to do everything myself, and I am tired of it." Now, the other person could have gotten defensive and said, "That is not true. I do cook sometimes," which would have turned into a big argument. But instead, this person remembered to stay calm, and they said, "I understand that you are tired of cooking every day. I feel tired after work too. So what if we cook together? Or what if we take turns so that neither one of us has to do it all the time?" Do you see what happened there? Instead of arguing about who was right or wrong, they focused on finding a solution that would make both of them happy. The argument transformed into a conversation about teamwork, and they both felt good about how they handled it. This is what winning an argument really looks like.
Now, here is a truth that might surprise you. Not every argument needs to be won. Sometimes being right is less important than being peaceful. Sometimes maintaining a good relationship is more valuable than proving your point. And sometimes the wisest thing you can do is simply let something go. Smart people choose their battles carefully. They ask themselves, is this argument really worth the stress and anger it will create? And sometimes the answer is no, and that is perfectly okay. Choosing peace over being right is not weakness. It is actually a sign of great wisdom and emotional maturity. Timing also matters greatly when it comes to arguments. If you need to have a difficult conversation with someone, do not start it when they just came home exhausted from work. Do not start it when they are already stressed about something else. And do not continue an argument when someone is extremely angry or emotional. Wait for a better time. Wait until both of you are calm and ready to have a productive conversation, and then discuss the issue. This shows that you actually care about solving the problem, not just venting your frustration or proving you are right.
Your tone of voice is also incredibly important during arguments. You could say the exact same words in two completely different ways, with a soft, gentle, respectful tone, or with a harsh, loud, aggressive tone. And those two different tones would create completely different results. A gentle tone invites the other person to work with you, but a harsh tone makes them want to fight against you. So even when you disagree with someone, even when you think they are completely wrong, speak to them with respect. Speak to them with kindness. Speak to them the way you would want someone to speak to you. Let me give you a quick practice example that you can think about. Imagine your friend says to you, "You are late again. This is the third time this week, and I am really frustrated." How should you respond? You could say, "I am sorry that I am late. I know it is frustrating for you, and I am going to make sure I leave earlier tomorrow so that this does not happen again. Your friend might continue, "You always say that, but then nothing changes," and you could respond, "You are right to feel that way because I have said it before and I have not followed through. But I want you to know that I really do value your time and our friendship, and I am going to set an alarm earlier and make a real change this time." Do you see what is happening in this conversation? There is no shouting, there is no blaming, there is no defending yourself aggressively. Instead, you are taking responsibility, you are acknowledging their feelings, you are apologizing sincerely, and you are making a real commitment to change. This approach works because it shows respect, it shows honesty, and it shows that you care about the relationship.
Winning an argument is not about crushing the other person. It is not about making them feel stupid or small. It is not about proving that you are smarter or better than them. When you approach arguments with this mindset, you will find that most arguments can be resolved peacefully, most relationships can be maintained, and most problems can be solved without anyone getting hurt. Let me review the key ideas we talked about today. An argument is simply a disagreement between people who have different opinions. Staying calm is your most powerful tool in any argument. Listening truly and deeply to the other person changes everything. Speaking slowly and using simple, respectful sentences invites cooperation. Using "I" statements instead of blaming makes people less defensive. Not every argument needs to be won. Sometimes peace is more important. Your tone of voice matters just as much as your words. Taking a break when emotions are too high is wisdom, not weakness. And real winning means solving the problem while keeping respect alive. Now imagine your future after learning these ideas. Someone disagrees with you about something. Maybe they even say something that makes you feel defensive or hurt, and you feel that familiar tension starting to rise in your body, that urge to defend yourself and prove you are right. But now you know what to do. You take a slow, deep breath, you pause before responding, you listen carefully to what they are saying, you speak calmly and clearly, you use simple phrases that invite cooperation, and you stay focused on solving the problem rather than winning the fight. The argument ends peacefully, both of you feel heard and respected, the problem gets solved, and your relationship becomes even stronger because of how well you handled the situation. This is the future that is possible for you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Thank you for trusting me as your teacher, and thank you for being someone who wants to learn and grow and become better at handling difficult situations. My name is Leo, and this is Better Online English Study, where we teach English the easy way. If you have not subscribed yet,
Please subscribe now and become part of our learning family. Listen to another episode, practice these ideas in your daily life, and remember these 3 simple things. Stay calm, listen first, and speak gently. You are learning, you are growing, and you are becoming stronger and wiser every single day. I believe in you, I really do. See you in the next lesson, and remember to always smile. Take care and goodbye.